Hello, everyone at Estevão Lives. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
Something's going on between Tucker and Dan Crenshaw. Rob, play the clip with Dan Crenshaw. A little bit awkward. He's doing an interview with a guy, and then all of a sudden, with GBN, they're talking, and he whispers something about Tucker if he was to run into him. Go ahead, Rob.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him.
I think kill him.
What did he say?
If I ever meet him, he goes, I think kill him. No joke.
So let me ask you, who leaked this clip?
It's probably
This looks like a direct angle of the camera.
Yeah, it's this guy.
So then this is GBN leaked this clip.
Yeah, or someone
while
at
they're
GBN.
talking, or at GBN. By the way, whoever that's at GBN that was behind it, if the guy didn't get fired, then it's GBN. Because if somebody leaked the clip here without my permission, and if they have a job and you leak this, you don't have a job. So that means GBN approved a clip like this being leaked or was okay with it being leaked because it was publicity, getting it out there. So if you ever do an interview with GBN, make sure you don't talk
the lights are off.
while the camera isn't on. Nothing.
GBN?
Just say all the best, whatever. Because now Tucker responds back to this, Rob. If you can pull up, what is that right there you got?
Well, this is possibly why Dan Crenshaw said that he wanted to kill Tucker Carlson.
So, I mean, Dan Crenshaw obviously is not emotionally prepared to lead anything, and he's out of control. He's out of control, and I think that he's a really volatile person. I hope he gets help. I mean that, and but he's also a pretty sinister person, I would say, whose priorities are not aligned with his party's voters, but also have kind of nothing to do with the United States. So I object. I mean, want to be honest. I feel sorry for Dan Crenshaw. I've had conflict with Dan Crenshaw. I felt like he was emotionally out of control, and so I feel sorry for him. But I also think it's not just him. It's a lot of the leadership of that party just doesn't put the United States first at all. And they all want to suck up to Trump and America first. Really, where's the money going? It's not going here. It's going.
After seeing this controversy involving Dan Crenshaw, it became even clearer how American politics is full of figures who do not represent the interests of the people. Dan Crenshaw was caught in a moment of lack of control, saying he would kill Tucker Carlson, and now he tries to downplay the situation. This is not just a slip-up, but a reflection of Dan Crenshaw's true character. Patrick Bet-David has often talked about how certain politicians say one thing in public and something completely different behind the scenes. Dan Crenshaw seems to be exactly that kind of politician.
To the countries
so
whose
this
lobbies
is what he's reacting to. And Tucker responds on a tweet, right, Rob? If you can go to that as well.
Tucker calling out Trump right here?
No.
Calling out people that are part of MAGA?
Tucker's calling out people from the Rhino side and the establishment Republicans that are trying to kiss up to Trump and saying, but where does the money go to? That's what he's saying. Go a little lower, because I thought there was a tweet by him saying, go a little lower, go a little lower, go a little lower. Apparently it's not up there. Okay, so if you find it, there was something where he said, I would love to have you on. I would love to have you on. I thought I saw a response. I thought I saw a response by Tucker.
Tucker said, if you want to debate, right?
Yeah,
if
you want to
talk
let's
about
do it right here, I'll send you my address.
Yeah.
Something like that is what he said. So, Vinny, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, and me and Brandon were talking about this before the show started. Like Dan Crenshaw.
Is that the one? Let me see it.
Yep.
Why don't you come and sit for an interview? And we'll see how you do. I'll send you my address. Okay, this is a response. And then Elon said, "Why is Crenshaw homicidal regarding Tucker?" Okay, go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah. So okay, and because I know some people are gonna get pissed off. And as a veteran, this has nothing to do with his service. He served as I think SEAL Team 3. An IED blew up. I want to say Bahrain. Don't quote me on it. But his eye, he's blinded. He has to wear a patch. The other one was in bad shape, but they fixed it. And he can see. All that aside, you have to understand. Like there's a difference between Republicans from Dan and Tucker. Okay, Tucker is America first. You guys know that guy. He loves this country. His backbone is in this country. People like Dan Crenshaw, though, Pat, they support. Like they're the military guys that will wear the Ukraine patch. They're about sending the money. They're what did he call him? He called him Eye Patch McCain. He called him Eye Patch McCain.
Tucker called Dan Crenshaw.
Tucker called him Eye Patch McCain, and he questions his credibility. While Tucker he called Tucker a click chaser and a cowardly know nothing. elitist. But I think this is the Republican Party that's fighting each other because it's one is a populist, media-driven America first, and the other one is the establishment that we.
While Donald Trump has always been direct and transparent, whether people like what he says or not, Dan Crenshaw acts differently. He tries to sell an image of a patriotic conservative, but his actions show otherwise. Patrick Bet-David has already discussed how figures like Dan Crenshaw end up serving the establishment more than the American people. The fact that Dan Crenshaw blindly supports sending billions to Ukraine while domestic problems in the U.S. increase only reinforces this idea.
Always talk about, and it's like that's the changing of the guard. The people want more of Tucker, and this is where that beef comes. And there's been a lot. I mean, he was going through it for a while. I forgot who reported on the Unusuals, where there's a lot of questions about the investing and insider trading and all that type of stuff, because the investments that he said that he was making, I want to say he's worth $4.4 million now, and he was getting furious online because people were apparently calling him out for his stuff. But I think if they sit down with Tucker, Tucker will eat him alive.
Brandon.
Yeah. So yeah, just when you listen to somebody speak, I look at their energy and their vibe a lot, and just really the way he speaks, the smugness, the condescending way that he says things. Just that alone, I don't like from the beginning. That was already a red flag. But then, like the things that he supports, like when he said, he's the first one to come out and support funding the military, first one to come out and endorse Ukraine. So I don't think that he says what he actually thinks. I think that he's one of those guys that's being told what's said. I think he's bitter about things. I think he's trying to chase money because of things. And I don't think he actually says what he thinks. So I can't respect somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't know too much about this guy, but to say that Tucker Carlson is the worst person ever, I mean, that just blatantly proves that he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, it's really difficult to hate Tucker Carlson, even from the other side. He's just like a very cheerful, happy-go-lucky person, right? Worst person ever. I mean, no.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people out there that would like to punch Tucker Carlson in the face. Not me. I'm just saying a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll see what happened here. What I like is the fact that the debate's taking place. Now it's on Dan Crenshaw to go out there and sit down with Tucker. There's also things going on between Tucker and Ben, where, there is the Ben camp. There is the Tucker camp. There is the establishment camp. There's the DeSantis camp that's still not happy about what happened with Trump. There's the MAGA camp. Then there's the fractions of the MAGA camp that are all fighting each other. But guess what? They're all still on the same side. That's the part, okay, that they're trying to fight and argue, and the policies at the top that are winning are the policies that Trump has. The Republicans are saying, look, man, you guys are great and whatever you're doing and whoever you're speaking on behalf of, the ideas we support are the ideas that Trump's put up there for us. We're supporting what he has to say. And so that's what I noticed going on within here. This morning, I'm reading an article from 2017, Kellogg, okay, Kellogg School. Kellogg is known as one of the best marketing schools out there. Rob, if you can go to the story here. If you can just go to the story, click on the link below.
That's
watch
at
this one here.
Northwestern, is it not?
It's a very, very, very respectful school. Sitting near a high performer can make you better at your job. It's called the spillover from certain coworkers can boost our productivity or jeopardize our employment. What are they saying? Go a little bit lower to read this a little closer. The people we sit near at work inevitably impact our day. They may brighten our mood or drive us crazy. So for me, like I have a problem here, right? 25. What's more, our work neighbors can actually change how we do at our jobs. Researchers looked at the 25-foot radius around high performers at a large technology firm and found that these workers boosted performers in coworkers by 15%. That spillover, positive spillover, translated into an estimated $1 million in additional annual profits, according to new research from Dylan Miner, an assistant professor at managerial economics and decision sciences at Kellogg. Now watch this here, how this continues. So 25 feet radius, 15% positive, okay? Watch the opposite. The flip side is that bad eggs impact their neighbors too. Negative spillovers from so-called toxic coworkers is even more pronounced, sometimes having twice the magnitude of impact on profits as positive spillover. Yet, while this toxic spillover happens very quickly, it also dissipates almost immediately once that worker is either fired or relegated to the far physical reaches of the company. You can stop with the story here. What is this story about? If you think about a lady this morning, Crystal, her and I connect a lot, She connected me today to speak to her son, 13-year-old son. I've met him before. So I sent him a message this morning on the drive here talking to him about what it is to be 13 years old. Yeah, I've been talking to my boys right now about a book I'm reading called Aggressive Girls and Clueless Boys. Every father with boys has to read this book because nowadays girls are approaching guys about sex and flirting versus it used to be the other way around. We had to. Today, girls are the ones that are more aggressive. If you have a son, do whatever you can. Don't look at the ratings. Just go read this book. It's 80 pages. You must read this book. Every parent, it's very necessary for you to read this book. It's 136 pages. So I'm talking to this kid about one of the most basic things you can do in life at early ages to win is choose your friends wisely. Later on in your career, one of the best things you can do in your life is choose your bosses, the company you work with, and your coworkers wisely. You do, you'll grow. You'll do better. You don't, you'll hate the company. You'll hate your boss. You'll be angry at everybody. You'll be walking on eggshells like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And you're thinking it's you, it's somebody else. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people in life are crap magnets. There are people that purely are crap magnets. They cannot help themselves but constantly attract negativity and problems in your life. You got to do whatever you can to avoid those folks.
What makes the situation even more absurd is that Dan Crenshaw clearly has a personal issue with Tucker Carlson and does not know how to handle criticism. While Donald Trump has always faced his opponents head-on, Dan Crenshaw resorts to insults and empty threats. Patrick Bet-David frequently talks about the importance of leaders who can debate and defend their ideas without resorting to emotional attacks, something that Dan Crenshaw completely failed to do. What I see is that Dan Crenshaw is increasingly distancing himself from the conservative base and aligning himself with the old politics that only wants to maintain power. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has never been afraid to challenge the system, which is why he remains such an influential figure. Patrick Bet-David has analyzed this phenomenon, showing how Dan Crenshaw represents a group of politicians who pretend to be conservatives, but in practice make decisions aligned with Washington's interests rather than those of the American people. This case makes me think about how Dan Crenshaw handles criticism. If he cannot accept being questioned by a journalist like Tucker Carlson, how would he handle even bigger challenges? Patrick Bet-David always says that politicians need to be tested and that their true character appears under pressure. Donald Trump has faced countless pressures and never backed down. Meanwhile, Dan Crenshaw, when faced with a controversy he created himself, tries to run away and downplay the problem. The fact that Dan Crenshaw refuses to accept the invitation to debate with Tucker Carlson also speaks volumes. Patrick Bet-David has interviewed many important figures and always emphasizes the importance of open debate. If Dan Crenshaw were confident in his opinions, he would not be afraid to confront them. Donald Trump, for example, has never avoided confrontation and has always defended his ideas with conviction. Dan Crenshaw, on the other hand, seems to just want to escape this situation without taking responsibility for what he said. In the end, this situation only reinforces how Dan Crenshaw is not the kind of leader conservatives need. Patrick Bet-David talks a lot about how we should evaluate politicians' actions, not just their words. Donald Trump has demonstrated true leadership over the years, while Dan Crenshaw continues to sink into contradictions. This episode may have finally revealed who Dan Crenshaw truly is, and I believe many patriots are starting to realize it.